Hi there, stampers and crafters. My name is Tami White, and welcome to our online class where today I'm going to show you how I made this gorgeous Eiffel Tower card using some sponging, some masking techniques. Very easy to make, really wow card. And believe it or not, aside from the Eiffel Tower, most of this is one layer. And it's a beautiful, beautiful card, and it's really fun to make. You're going to wow anybody that you give this to. Welcome aboard, everybody who's coming aboard. I heard somebody say no sound, so I'm just double checking. If you hear me, shout out. We are filming live on Facebook, and we will be having a replay on YouTube as soon as the taping has finished. Be sure to leave a comment here, and you will be entered in to win my drawing. And the drawing is for one of the bundles that we're using today. I'm going to be doing the Parisian Beauty, it's actually Parisian Blossom Suite, which is part of the new mini catalog, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There are two full bundles, stamp set and dies, in this suite that we'll be using part of. I'll be actually mixing them up today, but they are absolutely beautiful, and I'm giving one of them away, one of these suites, one of these bundles away, and that is the Parisian Beauty, and that is where the Eiffel Tower die comes from, and it matches the stamp set that's called Parisian Beauty. So I'm giving 3 of these bundles away, 1 live and 2 on the replay. So be sure to leave a comment whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. You will be entered to win. The replay drawing will be on January 27th. So lots of goodies for you because I always like to make it fun. I love doing the classes. I love when you guys jump on board and stamp with me because it's a whole lot of fun, and I love being able to give stuff away. And I can almost hear it when you guys win. I can almost hear it when you're typing. I'm like, it's fun, and it's fun when knowing that I'm not here by myself talking to myself. Anywho, this is what we're going to be making today. I have a free PDF for this card on my blog. It's on the resource page. Simply click on the link in this video's description or go to stampwithtami.com. If you click on the video tutorials, you will see all of my hundreds and hundreds of video tutorials there. Lots of great techniques. And to make it easy for you, there is also a link here that will bring you back to this exact resource page, which is going to contain this video as soon as we finish taping it. And there is also a smart card that will bring you back to that same URL code. If you know how to use that smart code with your smartphone, you can zap it. Everything pops up. It includes the free PDF. It includes the video. It's going to include the supply list and all the other details for this card. All right, so let's get started. I am going to start with our die cutting today. So I mentioned that there's a beautiful suite here, and there's all kinds of products in this suite. There are actually 2. Normally there's like a full bundle of a stamp set and a die, or a stamp set and a matching punch that go with a suite, and then there's paper and embellishments. And this is like a mega suite. So there's actually 2 stamp set and dies, and I'm going to use them both today. I'm actually using the Eiffel Tower die that goes with the Parisian Beauty stamp set. These are called Parisian Beauty dies. These are all the dies that are in the set. You can purchase them separately, but you save 10% when you buy them together, and they do match each other. They're meant to go together. So we're going to be using this die. I'm actually going to cut that out of some, just to make it even more fun for you guys, because I like it. Oh, Karen, you're on top of things. She's already downloaded her free PDF. I love it when I'm able to get them up early. You guys are prepared. You can even have your supplies ready and stamp along with me if you have them. If you don't have them, you can purchase everything I'm using today in my online store. So I'm using black foil. It's a black foil cardstock. It's really fun. I took the Eiffel Tower die and I just ran it through the die cut machine, and through the magic of video, we have our die. And that is the Parisian dies that I cut this from. Now, there are lots of things in this stamp set that match those Parisian dies. They are made to go together. But the second stamp set and bundle in that suite is called Forever Blossoms. And it's got the cherry blossom dies. And then it's got a coordinating stamp set and lots of words. So the All of Me Loves All of You, which, don't you want to sing a John Legend song when you hear that? Like, you want that ballad to come out. It makes a great wedding song too. And, coordinates with a great wedding card if you wanted to use this for that occasion or for an anniversary. So that's where the words come from. So I'm using the words from Forever Blossom and the dies from Parisian Beauty. Yes, the DSP that also goes with the suite is also beautiful. And all of the products are available individually. The suite can be purchased together, and you do save a little bit of money when you purchase the whole thing together, but you can purchase all of the products that I'm using today individually as well. So once we have that cut out, then we're going to go ahead and start doing our sponging. So like I said, most of this is one layer. It's I have a frame layer below it and then on the card just to give it a little bit more depth. But mostly this, the sun and our sunset or sunrise, whichever you want to. Could be the sun rising behind the Eiffel Tower or the sun setting behind it. Either way, there that's all one layer. So I'm using a piece of Whisper White cardstock. The first thing I'm going to do is our words, and they're heat embossed. For heat embossing, I'm going to take some Versamark ink pad here, and I'm going to stamp our words. And for placement, actually, before I do that, this is I almost forgot this one too. This is the if you forget this step, you will regret it step, and that's the Emboss Buddy. It's like the smallest, thing on there, but if you don't do it, you get this extra static, especially when you're using black. You really see that. And you might get little pieces of powder where you don't want them. So rub that on there, keeps the static down. It is the small little step that makes such a big difference. The other thing I'm going to do is take that Eiffel Tower die, and this is why I cut it first. I'm going to kind of place it where I want it on the card, and that's going to give me an idea of where I want my words to go. So I'm going to stamp them right about there. And then we're going to take some black emboss powder. I'm just gonna go the efficient way here and take a piece of scrap paper that was left over from a print. When you put the new cartridges in the printer and it takes out a test sheet for you. Well, that's what I'm using today because why waste it? All right, so I just flicked off some excess on the back. We'll just put the rest of this powder right back in the jar because these jars go on forever and ever and ever. It almost seems like when you have a brand new jar of embossing powder, after you use it once, you actually have more powder than what you started with. I don't know how that happens. It's like magic, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our heat tool next and heat emboss those words so they really stand out. And you could also use black ink if you wanted to. But I think the heat embossing just goes along with the glossy foil cardstock that we're using with the Eiffel Tower, and it really pops with our sunset. So I just want to make sure I got all of it. I got one little piece there that needs a little touch up. There we go. Love the heat embossing. It's harder to see the black than if I was doing a metallic like gold or silver. It really, really stands out. And so you can kind of see, if you look at it at an angle, you can see that it's all raised and glossy. And if it's not, if you notice a couple of powdery spots, touch it up again like I just did with the heat so that it's all melted before we start our next step. And our next step is going to be a little masking and then sponging. So I'm just going to bring in some background paper here. And I've got 4 ink pads. Now, all of the colors and ink pads that I'm using today are all listed on that PDF and on the resource page. So you can jump back to that resource page anytime you need any, if you're not sure what we're using, you can jump back to that anytime you need any, I'm not sure what the word I was looking for there. Any tips on what I was using here today, you can go back and see it, especially the colors. I've got crushed curry, pumpkin pie, cherry cobbler, and rich raspberry. I'm taking a sponge dauber, and I'm a lefty, so we're all going to be lefties today. I'm just putting that on my index finger, and we're just going to rub that on the card. Now, I like to start with my lightest color, and I like to work that in really good, and I'm going to actually go up a little bit higher than I actually want the color to be, because I'm going to use that to blend it with our next color up, and I'm going to do that with each color. It is magical, isn't it, Yvonne? Just all of it. I love it. I love everything about this card. There's just something about heat embossing that just I'm drawn to. It was like one of the first things when I first started Oops, when I first started stamping that, I saw that heat embossing and I was like, oh my gosh, I must do that. Must have it. And if you're just jumping in late, I don't know why Facebook is not giving you your notification, Jenny. Facebook has been so weird lately, and I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what is going on with them. And like they don't put the video out when I schedule it. There's like an announcement instead of the actual video, and then when I go live, you have to click on the announcement to get it's weird. So I hope they fix this soon. I've written to them. And it would be great if you want to write to them too. Okay, so I just did some pumpkin pie, and then I'm going over where the two colors meet with some crushed curry again, just to blend it. And then I'm going to move up to our cherry cobbler. Now, I wanted more of the crushed curry and pumpkin pie, more of the lighter color than I did of the two darker colors. So I made that go up more than the halfway point. And then we're just going to go ahead with this. I want this to be really dark and rich. Now, you can go as dark or rich as you would like with these colors, simply by just layering on more color if you want it to be darker. And then I'm going to again go back to the last color I used there and blend that line in where the two meet. Can you use the daubers again if you use them in light colors is the question that's coming through. Well, they come in a package where there's a bunch of them in it. I like to keep one for each color. However, for example, I used this one in crushed curry. I could use it in the pumpkin pie because the pumpkin pie is darker, but then I would not want to go back and use it in the crushed curry again. What you also could do is rub as much color as you can off, and then you can change colors. But personally, just to keep the colors clean and from mucking up the ink pads, I do kind of like to keep one for each of my own. But it's personal. I mean, you know, if you only have 8 and you want to be able to use a lot more colors, then you can certainly improvise and see if you can stretch it a little bit further. So now I'm taking the rich raspberry for the very, very top here. I don't want too much of that rich raspberry. It's just a little darkness up top here. If our night sky, whether, oh, maybe it's twilight coming in, or the blue hours, we call it in photography. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's sunrise. Maybe it's a little dusky and the sun's about to come up. And then again, just like I did with the other ones, I took the blending color, like I'm taking the cherry cobbler here, and I'm blending in that line, so you don't see the line. And then when you go over it, like I want to just do a little bit more blending here. Actually, maybe with the pumpkin pie. So you can continue. You can just keep going over this as much as you would like to, until you reach the desired effect that you want. And I am pretty happy with that. But you know what I forgot to do as I was doing that? I forgot to put our sun in, which was pretty important, right? That was a pretty important step. That was actually, you know, part of the card was the masking of the sun. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did that. And maybe this one's not going to have a masked sun, but I do need you to know how I did it so that you can, when you recreate yours, you can actually mask your sun. Are you guys sitting there going, oh my gosh, why is she not having a sun here? You know what? I might actually, when I flip it back around, I might actually do a layer on it for the sun. And Terry, I think she probably popped in late, and you're asking what color that I'm doing here. It is, oh no, it's not Terry. Who asked what color paper it was? Sorry. Terry's asking watercolor. When you do watercolor shading, you could use watercolor paper. I'm using Whisper white paper on this one. So the question was, when doing watercolor shading, do you have to use watercolor paper? No, actually shimmer white paper looks really good with watercoloring too. Okay, so I took our 1.5 inch circle punch, punched a circle out of a Post-it note, and then I'm going to place that down, and I would do this before I did all that sponging that I just did. And this is the masking. So, and I'll just give you a quick rundown. So I would do exactly what I just did over this while this mask was on. And then when you're done, you take the mask off and you have your sun there. And then I took a little bit of crushed curry and added it into the sun to create the sun effect. Now, since I forgot to do that after all of this, let's go ahead and do something different with the front of the card. And I have some scrap. Let's see what I got down here. No, that's not. If there's one thing I'm really good at, it's improvising. Showing you how to fix your mistakes. So let's take, this might even be thick, which probably isn't what I want, but we're using it anyway, because it happens to be there. So we're just going to make a layer out of a sun this time. So we are going to have a layer here. So I've got a piece of very vanilla. Let's take some crushed curry and a little bit of pumpkin pie. Can you lift the ink with water? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. All right, so I just kind of mixed a little crushed curry and pumpkin pie to make our sun. We're going to have a layer on here instead of a masked piece, but that's okay. It's all going to be beautiful in the end, no matter how you go about doing it, and I'm probably not going to be the only one. You know, somebody else might do this exact same thing and think, oh no, I just did all of that beautiful work and it's so beautiful. I don't want to mess with it. So here we go. So now we've got a layer of a sun instead of a masked sun, but it's all pretty. Just move those out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and take our Eiffel Tower. Actually, you could do one of two things here. I'm going to attach my Eiffel Tower first, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to spritz this so that, and it's probably hard to see this on the original. Let's see if I can hold it up there for you. But this is shimmery, and it's shimmery because I've spritzed it with champagne shimmer mist and rubbing alcohol. So I took one of our spritzers, and I put a couple of drops of this champagne shimmer mist and filled it up with rubbing alcohol. Shake it up, and now we have a spritzer. The reason why I'm going to attach this first, because normally I probably wouldn't want to spritz over the black foil, because the black foil is not actually going to absorb the spritz like the cardstock will. But if I spritz it before I attach it, it won't attach until it's completely dry, which could take a little bit. And you guys don't want to sit here that long, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I have done it in the past, and it's okay. I mean, the shimmer isn't going to absorb into the black foil, but it also won't hurt it. But if you were making a bunch of these, I would say spritz them and wait for them to dry and then attach this. And then you can take your pick tool, because I just used, and I am going to use Snail Adhesive to attach this. So that's another thing that I would like to talk about, how to attach this Eiffel Tower to your card. There are multiple ways to do it. Because I use Snail, I'm going to have a little bit of show through. So I'm just taking a paper piercer to poke any of that show through out. If you were to use the liquid glue or the fine tip glue pen, which are probably preferred, let's see if I can get that over a little bit more. I didn't put that sun in a good spot. Let's move it. I guess that's one thing about not masking, is that I can move that sun. If you use those, you won't have the show through. Another thing is, if you happen to have adhesive sheets work great with these. We used to sell them. We don't sell them anymore, but they're sheet. You would stick the foil to the adhesive sheet and then die cut it, and then it makes it a sticker. And then you can peel it on, and there's no show through, and it works really nice. Okay, so now we've got our pan. It's still beautiful, right? Even without the masking, it's still beautiful. And we'll go ahead and put our whole card together before we do the shimmer panel. So I have a tiny frame of black around this, around our sunset panel, because I liked just a little. I didn't put that on very straight. I'm just not having a time, and my Eiffel Tower is not sticky enough. Let's redo that first. Make sure that gets enough adhesive on it. And then let's see if we can, oops, a little sticky. Let's see if we can go ahead and restick this to the black cardstock. You know what, Jeanette, you are so right. There are no real mistakes here, right? Happy accidents. Okay, so now I have a little a reveal frame, a little black frame that is around this. It really just makes it all pop and come together. And then I'm going to take, just because I wanted it to really stand out, I'm going to take Stampin' Dimensionals for the back for this panel to pop up on our card base. Oh, thank you, Anne. She says this card is so pretty. I've loved this Eiffel Tower since I first saw it. It just, I just loved it. I love the Eiffel Tower anyways. I've gone to Paris twice and never been able to go up in the Eiffel Tower, so that is on my list of things that I need to do someday, if I ever get to go back. So and I love seeing the videos of it light up at night. I'm drawn to it, and I just think this is just a beautiful card. You know, Paris is a symbol of love, the city of love, and so I just felt like it all fit together here. Now I am going to do our spritzing. Again, if you were doing a bunch of these, spritz first and then let them all dry completely and then attach your Eiffel Tower. But since we're not going to want to sit here for a few minutes while it all dries, I'm going to do this all at once. So I did put rubbing alcohol in here and a couple of drops of the shimmer mist. And I'm just going to shake that up real good, and we're going to spritz over the top of our entire card. The rubbing alcohol will make it dry pretty quickly. And I will show you, if you do this when the Eiffel Tower, after you've attached the black foil, this will bead up on the black foil, but it will eventually dry. It won't be shimmery. The black foil doesn't need to be shimmery because it's already glossy. So when it dries very nicely. Again, it's kind of hard to see it on the video, but it's sparkly. And then we've got this beautiful Eiffel Tower in here. And so we've got a couple different versions here too. We've got one with our sun attached and one with our sun masked. And that is our class today. And if you are late jumping on board, be sure to leave a comment, because you could be entered in to win one of these Parisian Beauty bundles that I used on this card. I actually used two different bundles together. Actually, I stamp set and a die from two different bundles is what I did. I used the stamps from the Forever Blossoms stamp set, and that also has a die that we didn't use today that coordinates with it. And I used the Parisian dies, the Eiffel Tower from the Parisian dies, and that also has a stamp set that coordinates with it. And they actually all go together in the Parisian Blossoms suite in the new Occasions catalog. So I hope you've enjoyed this class, and I appreciate you joining me today. All right, we will see you back on Friday, where I have another fun class in store. Thanks for joining me.